So, Bridget.
Yeah.
We had ChatGPT write some intros for our podcast. So I wanted to read some of them because they're pretty great. Ladies and gentlemen, start your consoles. This is Bridget and Maddie, and we're here to bring you the ultimate gaming experience.
Are we the ultimate gaming experience?
Welcome to Baddy Breakdowns, where we dive deep into the world of video games and share our love for all things gaming. Every week, we'll take you on a journey through the latest games, tips and tricks, and have a whole lot of fun along the way. So grab your headset, grab a drink, and join us for a wild ride through the world of gaming. Here we go.
He's like an announcer for race cars.
Ready for another one?
I am ready for. Okay, hold on. Okay, yes. Okay, I've composed myself.
I did selectively choose which ones I shared with you that were good.
I'm ready. The last one makes me think that we have a NASCAR racing game podcast.
This one's even better.
Okay.
Are you ready for a wild ride through the world of video games?
Yeah, you are.
Then buckle up, because this is Baddy Breakdowns. I'm Bridget, and I'm Maddie. You two young women who talk about video games.
What is with these buckle up shenanigans? I don't ship it.
Ship it.
Ship it.
Ship it.
Hi, I'm Bridget.
And I'm Maddie. Welcome to Baddy Breakdowns, where we hang out, have fun, and play games all the way to the end. Today, we're going to be talking about A Short Hike. We'll give you the breakdown from its creation to its critical reception, and then we'll take you on a deep dive into the game as we share our own experiences and opinions while playing it. Will we recommend it? Who should play it? And most importantly, what's our personal rating? With that, let's take a short hike.
I love it.
Okay, I have the description. So here's the description that the game wrote for itself. Hike, climb, and soar through the peaceful mountainside landscapes of Hawk Peak Provincial Park as you make your way to the summit.
That's so short and sweet.
I know, it's so cute.
fitting.
It's so cute. All right, Bridget.
How it's made.
Yeah, and who made it?
Yeah, this one is actually kind of fun because I literally found a video on how it was made.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so the link that I found was the creator, Adam Robinson Yu. He's a solo developer of it, and he actually did a talk at GDC.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, which, for folks listening, if you don't know what that is, it's Game Developer Conference.
Yep.
That's what it stands for, right? Yeah.
Yep.
And people go, there are a lot of really interesting talks that happen there, and he managed to have one around a short hike and doing like a post-mortem pretty much on how he built it, how he focused on stuff. And so we can link that totally in the description if people want some more details, because he had some really fun stuff in there, especially if you're like a gamer or game developer yourself. It was really interesting. But yeah, so A Short Hike was made by Adam Robinson Yu. It had music by Mark Sparling, but everything else was done by Adam. There were a couple in his AMA on Reddit. He had mentioned that a couple of his friends had made some models and the logo for him, so shout out to them as well. But the very large portion of this game was done by Adam. He, a little bit about his background in the making of the game, because I thought it was really fun, is he was actually a developer, like a software dev. Left his job and said, I'm going to make indie games.
I love it.
I know. And I feel like a lot of people do that and then make
the dream.
Yeah, then they don't actually make the dream, but I feel like Adam did, which is really fun. Success story. But he left, he started working on indie games, and then he had planned on making this RPG, which he had some screenshots of it, and it was really, really cute. So I'm a little sad that it doesn't exist, but
maybe he's working on it now.
Maybe, I don't know. At the time, he paused it because he started getting really like stressed out about it. He said that it was his first game where it was kind of a bigger game and not just like a tiny project. He had actually gotten an audience of people that were excited to play it, and then all of a sudden he started getting like really stressed out about, oh my god, what what if I miss my big break? What if I mess this up? And so as like this Christmas gift to himself, he was like, okay, I'm going to stop working on this game for a sec. I'm going to do something a little easier, a little bit more fun, and take a break. And his break was a short hike.
Wow.
Yeah. And so it's also kind of fun because I thought the game was a little bit of an escape for everybody.
Yeah.
And it was literally his little escape from the stress of making this other game, which is just adorable. Other fun things, the game development, like I said, it was his Christmas gift. So it started in December 2018. He got a lot of attention from, like, he already had attention on his other RPG game. And so I'm assuming it would kind of fed from that. And he got the attention of the Humble Bundle folks.
Yeah.
And then they gave him funding to release the game, and 3 months.
Whoa.
Yeah, so he started making it in December. He did like the, not promo, the prototype. He did the prototype?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did the prototype in December with
Yeah.
like some of the design documentation. And then in 3 months, he did it and released it in March of 2019.
Wow.
I know. And on top of that, he, in the little talk that he does, he talks a lot more about how he kept on track and made his timelines. Like, a lot of the features that he had weren't in the original game when it released on Humble. So we played it, now years later. And so we got stuff like fishing and beach stickball, but that actually wasn't in there in the first iteration.
Oh.
Yeah. And then like the boating came much later when he did the Switch release.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So there are a lot of different things he added later and kept it going. But at the first release, he was very strict about what is the core of the game and making it hit. But he did it in 3 months, which is crazy.
That's really cool.
A couple other things I thought were really fun. The art style of it, I think, was pretty unique.
Yeah.
The background, I guess, of why he decided to do it was, as a non-artist himself, he didn't really know how to make it, like, give it this vibe. He wasn't really sure how to do it, and he wanted something that was going to be a little bit simpler so that he could spend more time increasing the scope of the project since he had such limited time. He wanted to make sure he got certain features in. And so what he knew as a programmer was doing like these layers of effects on top of things like base, rough 3D models. And so the reason that the game is so pixelated and blown up like that is because that's just an effect that he's layered on to these rough, simplistic models to make sure that you could see the shape and that you could see like the environment, but without needing to be like super nitpicky about having the perfect model.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and he goes a lot more in depth, and it's a little bit easier to visualize like during his video, but a lot of the effects, like the background fading out and doing outlines and stuff, all of those are just effects layered upon effects of just these base 3D models, which is really fun. The last little thing that I'll mention, which I really liked, and it gets into a little bit of what I liked so much about the game, was the way that he approached pacing in the world. And I think this is going to start getting us a little bit into how it's played a little bit. So I won't go into depth here, and maybe we can talk a little bit more about it after second part of the podcast. But TLDR, he really wanted to embrace the freedom and the freedom of choice that people could make, and making sure that people had fun making their own path way through the game. And so he has put so much effort and time into making things playable any way that you decided to approach the game. And I have a lot of really fun examples, but I'll throw them out as we talk a little bit about the game more so that people can understand the context of it, because they're really fun. But you could just tell the kind of love that he had when he was coming into it of like, I just want people to explore and relax and be themselves. And he put a lot of effort into doing that, which is really fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I got.
Wow.
I really loved listening to Adam talk about it. You could tell that he cared a lot about it, and he seemed really, really, really smart and really thoughtful about his game design, which I think proves like
really purposeful.
Yeah,
too,
really
it seems
purposeful.
Like,
yeah, for sure. So yeah, that's what I got today.
Cool. Okay, I coming at you with the critical reception. So, I mean, I don't think it's a surprise. The Metacritic score was 82, which is pretty high, and the user score was 8.6 for the game. Consensus is that the game is very charming, wholesome, rewards exploration, and had no bloat. Like, the thing that a bunch of critics mentioned that it did so well is a lot of games, to your point that you were just saying, right? They become bloated with features that don't serve the core of the game and the purpose of the game. And a lot of critics really appreciated that it knew what it was, and it excelled at what it was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And users also loved how positively cozy it was.
It was
Yes.
super cozy.
So many people were just leaving reviews of so cozy, sweet as pie, lots of comments like that. So I didn't see any negative critic reviews, actually.
Wow.
Not a single one. But the users who didn't seem to like it, the thing that I thought was funny is the people who said they didn't like it said it was boring, too simple, and too short. Which also, like, LOL, it's called a short hike.
Okay, what's so funny about that? Okay, fun facts drop in here right now is in his talk, he had mentioned how literally all of his merchandising and marketing, he tried to overemphasize the fact that it was short, so he put it in the title and, like, get people in the right mindset because he didn't want reviews like that because it's not the point. It's
literally called a short...
that's so funny because, of course, people did that anyway.
Yeah.
Of course they did. But
yeah. Okay, that's all I had. Let's talk about the game.
Yeah. Do we want to do a quick overview of, like, the setup of it?
Sure.
Yeah. When you first start the game, you learn very quickly that you are heading to vacation with your aunt on an island. She's a park ranger, I think. And you start off the game just in this little car, and you're about to jump on the ferry, and you're really sleepy, and you're just going to vacation. Maddie, do you want to tell us, like, your first impressions? How are you feeling?
Yeah. So my first impressions were that the vibes were A+. The sleepy car ride just, for some reason, tapped into a nostalgia that of being a kid and being in the back seat of my parents' car at night and just being sleepy in the car. Just so good.
I think it was really effective too that they didn't have music in that part of, like, the sleepy car ride, because that's, you hear, like, the sound of the roads, and then, like, right when you start you hear the sound of the wind.
Don't you hear some nature sounds?
You hear nature sounds, yeah. It's very much so, like, it put you in that little place in that little time and got you set up in that mindset, I think, really.
Yeah, and
really
it was
well.
Also nice retro pixel art that just felt really cozy. And then that brings me to my second point, which is, wow, this is probably the coziest game I've ever played. And those are my first impressions.
This is the definition of cozy game. Yes. I think for sure. My gut, like, when the little car started rolling and you start getting the cute little, very intimate feeling text bubbles, like, because they were like little text messages popping up. I loved them. They weren't actual text messages for the people that haven't seen it. It's just the bubbles weren't like a normal video game where you have, like, a prompt at the bottom and kind of click through. They were more natural feeling, like conversational. And I was like, wow, that's super adorable. And, you know, if you listen to our episode last week, we just got finished with The Last of Us, and it was a high anxiety game. And I needed it. And sitting down and immediately with the little car animation, the little nature sounds and everything, I was happy immediately. I think my note that I took was just like, oh, thank God.
Yeah. It's so good. It's just so good. It's so cozy. It's so nice. Anything else to add about first impressions?
I'll give what's the very first thing that I did in the game, which is kind of a bridge into what the rest of the game looks like, which is I ignored all instructions and I went the opposite direction.
I did too. You did? I thought I was being different. I literally wrote in my notes, I'm going to be different and go a different direction.
I love that.
And swim around. I swam around a lot.
Did you? Okay, so some more, like, dropped of the fun facts. He got a lot of playtesting that did similar things where they either dove directly into the water and swam around, or they went around the entire circumference of the island the opposite direction. Were you a water swimmer or were you entire reverse?
I was a water swimmer.
Okay, I was entire reverse island. So we got some coverage.
Yeah.
What was funny is going through in the reverse direction. I usually do that because they stop you.
Yeah.
And you know that you only get so far, and then you find, like, a secret treasure thing, whatever. And I think there was a coin on the beach right when you plop in. So you appear on the island after the sleepy car ride. And your aunt is sitting there on a log, and you're pretty much like, crap, I have a phone call that I need to get. And she's like, well, there's no signal here. What are you going to do? She's like, there's signal on the top of the mountain, though. And so you're like, oh, okay. I'll go to the top of the mountain. Yeah.
Hike to the top of the mountain. And it's like a famous thing on this island that you pick up, right? It's kind of all centered around summiting.
Yeah.
Hawks Peak, is that?
Hawks Peak.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And there's like little coins everywhere that you can collect. And there I saw a coin on the beach right there in kind of the wrong direction. And so I went to get the coin and I was like, oh, well, I'll keep going around because there's probably like a little secret chest or something. And then I just kept going and it didn't stop me. And I just kept going.
Until you made a full circle. Nice.
Which I don't think was how he intended us to play, but still fun.
But I think he knew people were going to play different.
Yeah. What I had seen was he actually, in the game, it's kind of a small open world.
Totally.
Yeah.
Completely open.
And he had put a very clear, like, tutorial area. Mm-hmm. And if you go the opposite direction, obviously you don't see the tutorial area first. And so the reason that he had tunnels everywhere was because the tunnels were to get people back to the tutorial.
I went back in the tunnel.
Oh, you did? Perfect. Yeah, you got caught in the tunnel trap.
Yeah.
So great game design. Good job. I got stuck on beach stickball is where I got stuck.
Oh, funny.
Yeah, that was the very first thing I did.
Okay, so really quickly for listeners, the way this game is laid out, it's a small island. You can circle it really easily. It doesn't take that much time. It's completely open world, and you're a little bird, and you have what's called gold feathers. Mm-hmm. And gold feathers are like your stamina, essentially. And you can use a gold feather to climb or fly higher. Mm-hmm. And the objective of the game is to get more gold feathers so that you can keep climbing and flying higher and higher. Mm-hmm. The feathers are hidden everywhere. There's coins so you can buy feathers sometimes, or buy hats, or buy whatever. But just to give an idea of why we're not doing anything linear, this game is not linear.
Yeah, no.
It's just not. In a really awesome way.
In the best way.
Yeah.
My favorite thing that I had read was, as you go through, it's so nonlinear that he, at some point in the game, like the basis of it, there's not really a ton of tools, but you do get a couple, and one of them is a shovel, and there's little things, kind of like in Animal Crossing, actually. Like, there's little holes that you can dig, and he has you get a toy shovel and then trade it for a real shovel, which is adorable.
Yeah.
And he actually put like 5 or 6, I don't know, some large amount of toy shovels all over the island so that you would definitely stumble on one, and then he just deletes the rest after you find one.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, so there's not just like one spot where you find the toy shovel. It's in like a ton of places.
It's purposely built to be unstressful.
Yeah,
I love that
exactly.
so much.
You don't have to stress about, oh my god, where's the shovel? Because he's like, here are your 10 shovels. Just go find one. You will. Don't worry about it. Like, it's amazing.
Wow.
I know. I love it.
That's so cool. The first thing I did was swim, and I found the crow on an island with the volcano.
Oh.
And it blows you up.
Yeah.
And then I glided. He tells you how to dive and like glide. Mm-hmm. And then I met the pelican, and that's how I knew that you could go fishing and stuff. Because I glided, met the pelican. The pelican says, I'll buy a fish, and here's a fish journal.
Mm-hmm. Yours feels like such a more productive beginning than mine, because like when I went, I saw the tunnel, voided the tunnel, because I was like, nope, I'm not ready, I'm going as far as it'll take me, which I didn't know at the time was like all the way around. And the first thing I ran into is that little mini game of beach stickball.
Yeah.
And this is the first time that I've seen people, because I've gone the wrong direction.
Do you want to explain what beach stickball is?
Yeah. So if anyone has played like beach volleyball, like one-on-one beach volleyball, it's like that, but instead of using your hands, you use sticks to like whack the ball across the net pretty much. And they tee it up like, oh, play beach stick volleyball with me. If you can get over so many, like, I'll give you something. And so I start playing it, and it only takes me a few attempts to get like the first level. And so I'm like, great, I did it. I did my job. I can keep going on. And then he has like a line. The other little bird is like, oh, well, if you get 20, then you do blah, 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 blah. I played beach stickball for 45 minutes.
No, to get to 20?
I got to 33.
Oh, okay. There we go.
But eventually I made it. I actually, 33 was my first attempt over 20. Wow. Took me like 45 minutes to do this thing. And the whole time I was stressed that I was doing the wrong thing. Not like in a Like, I wasn't actually stressed, but I was like, I'm wasting so much time just on beach stick volleyball. I should probably stop. And I was like, but I don't want to stop, so I'm just going to keep going. But then I got a golden feather at the end. And I was like, look, I was productive.
I was rewarded.
I was rewarded for dicking around for 45 minutes playing beach stick volleyball.
I love it.
I loved it so much. And that was really fun.
Yeah. It's a cute area.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing I did before I got back on track is there's an island with a deer. Did you run into this island?
Was it the one that was all messy?
And then you pick up trash.
Yeah.
And I was like, just help the deer pick up trash. Just doing my part, being a good citizen. Met a pelican, met another crow or bird, whatever, and helped a deer pick up trash. Like, wow, this game is so cute.
That's
I love
so
it.
Nice. I didn't find her trash island until I think about the end, and I didn't find the gliding instructions until later. I figured that out. I think you had a different tutorial somewhere else for how to do it, which is also kind of fun because that's how I learned, was just a different place, which is really cool now that I think about it. But I love, like, we both went off track and we both ended up in totally different places. That's so fun. Yeah,
that is a lot of fun. So once you start going down the path,
actually going down the path,
the thing that I really loved is just the individual interactions that you have with the characters across the island. You stumble upon different animals, and each animal has something different to say, and it's really cute, short, and sweet. An example is you run into a bunny rabbit that's lost their lucky headband, and they ask you to help find it, and you can't find it. And I think that one's purposefully you can't find it.
I think it's purpose, yeah.
And so you start talking to other people, and you run into a turtle, and the turtle is like, oh, you can give them my headband. It's also red.
So sweet.
And then you take the headband to the bunny, and it turns out that the bunny is a fan of the turtle because the turtle's some big runner.
Yeah. There's like a running competition, marathon. There's a marathon today. Yeah.
And then isn't that a reference to, like, the tortoise and the hare?
I didn't know that, but yes.
And I was just like, wow, how cozy is this?
Cute.
A little rhyme, like children's old, I don't know, what am I thinking of?
Fable.
Yeah.
Kinda? Yeah.
Good.
Did you talk to little bunny to get the headband back?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think I loved that the conversations just kept going. Like, there wasn't one simple thing or one dialogue. Even when you did the right thing and got the task done, there was still more to do afterwards. And that was a fun surprise. I liked it. One of my favorite little interactions like that, because I actually, in my little notes for today, I had side stories that were cute and intimate. It was like the little section I had for it. I think my absolute favorite one, I wrote down that one, the runner one, because, like, how cute is that? It's so cute. But the little painter was my favorite, I think. You had this little person that was painting in different areas of the island. And you run into them the first time, and they're trying to get the perfect portrait, like, painting. And they're trying to figure out what other people are going to like, because they're trying to enter this competition in the city. And after you talk to them, they'll wander off and go find a different thing to paint because they haven't found the thing they want yet. And when you, like, follow them along their little path and find them at all their different places, it's like this really cute mini story about, like, someone trying to create something for somebody else and then realizing that they need to create for themselves, and they just find something they wanted to paint and what makes them feel good. And I was just like, oh my god,
it's so cute.
It was just, I was so surprised by how simple and yet so endearing all these little tiny characters were.
And they had their own arcs and mini arcs too.
Mini arcs, very
really
mini. Yeah, because, like, there's one where literally, like, the arc of one of the climbers is that they're practicing climbing, they're trying to climb, and they don't make it, and then they eventually make it. And, like, it's the world's smallest little mini arc, and it's still so satisfying to see them, like, later as you're wandering around that they're on the top of the mountain now, and you're like, wow, you made it. Like,
it's really cute. The other little bit that I liked is when the pelican lets you know that you can fish, but that's not where you get the fishing rod. You run into someone fishing about halfway up the mountain at a pond, and you talk to him, and did you fall in the water?
I did.
So it's really cute because if you accidentally fall in the water because you're trying to get the hang of fishing, the guy will say, it's okay.
Yeah.
It knew, like the game knew you fell in the water. Your character says, I'm embarrassed. And then they say, it's not embarrassing. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just like, oh my God. This is the cutest freaking thing I've ever experienced.
It is so cute.
It's so wholesome.
Wholesome is the perfect word for it. Now that you say wholesome, I'm like, that's exactly what this is. Like, every moment was built around making you feel relaxed and happy and successful and safe and comfortable. One of the funny thing about the fisherman is with the shenanigans I was attempting, I actually found the fisherman after I finished the game, theoretically.
Oh.
Because I don't know why, but I never ended up going over that direction, never finding it. And I had so many feathers so fast because I ran around to do so much stuff that I made it up the mountain like pretty fast. I think probably within an hour and a half if you subtract the amount of time that I played beach stick ball.
Yeah.
And then once I finished that, I was like, but I don't feel done because there's so many other things to do. So I kept playing.
Yeah.
And I almost immediately found him after that. And I was like, oh, great. Now I have something to do. I can go fish. And that was nice, too. Like, finding him afterwards wasn't a problem at all.
Yeah.
Like,
it's so non-linear in the best way.
In video games, I feel like they punish you, or it can feel punishing to not do, like, the main thing that you're supposed to be doing. And I really thought that he created this world where going off track was the game. It was the point. Like, the point was that you were supposed to, like, run around and swim instead of follow the path first, and that you were supposed to find whatever shovel you managed to find. And it was really unintimidating and rewarding to play a game where there was literally so little stress because everything you did was correct.
Yeah.
And it's just really comforting knowing that there's no way that you can fail.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I love that. Do we want to get to the summit?
Yeah.
Okay. So once you're ready and you got your feathers, you can start making your way to the top of the summit. And once you get to the top, it's just a really beautiful moment. And you just listen to the sounds and look at the view with your character.
And it's beautiful with, like, the northern lights and stuff. Yeah, beautiful.
Really relaxing. And you get a call from your mom at the top. And this is where I can see how someone cried. So a little bit of spoilies. You get a call from your mom, or the game mom. And she says, oh, hi, honey. Like, I've been trying to call you. And you're like, oh, I haven't had service. I just got to the top of the mountain. And she's like, wow, I'm really proud of you. Yeah. It's really cute. And she said, my surgery went well. And she hadn't told you about the surgery. And so you're like, oh, why didn't you tell me? She's like, I just didn't want to worry you. And I love you and I'm proud of you. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
This is so sweet.
It was sweet. It was surprisingly sweet. I don't know what I expected. In fact, at the point that I got to the mountain, I don't think I remembered that I was doing it for a phone call.
Yeah.
Like, I think that I
had also forgotten.
Yeah, I had gotten lost in everything else in a fun way. And when I got to the mountain, I was like, I made it to the top. And I wasn't expecting the phone call at all. I didn't cry.
I didn't either, but I could see how if you had mom stuff, that would probably make you, like,
for sure,
fully sob.
Yeah, for sure. And I also love that the news was good and it was a sweet phone call. It's like they didn't put in a sad thing at the end, like, surprise, have tears because sad things happen to you. It's like, no, it's just a sweet, genuine call from your mom, and you're like, maybe I'll call my mom.
Yeah. It made me want to call my mom.
I was like, maybe I'll just go call my mom. Hey, mom, how you doing?
She'd love that. Call your mom, everyone.
Yeah,
call your mom.
I will say some of the feedback that I had seen from people reading around on Reddit, because I found their subreddit. That's all I do is surf Reddit, I guess. And so many people said that they played it to, like, just whenever they're stressed or anxious, they'll just pick it up and play it again. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I see that.
It's kind of meditative.
It is. Yeah. Well, the one of my favorite parts of the gameplay, actually, when you talk about, like, the meditative pieces of it, is the flying. There's flying, right? We talked about that a little bit. And then there's boat riding also. And the mechanics are so smooth for the flying in the boat that it's just, I would just like fly around. I would go to as high as I could and I would just fly my way back down because it was really like gentle. And then the boat riding, when you get up to full speed with the music in the background, which the music is really, really beautiful too. Yeah. It paired really well with the game and it was the perfect tone for it. But when you get like up to speed in this boat, the music is perfect. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I just drove around at full speed on that boat for like 10 minutes because I was like, I don't want to stop. This is nice. Like it felt so good.
Yeah. It's like the Ron Swanson, not half-ass one thing, whole-ass, or half-ass multiple things, whole-ass one thing.
Yeah, for sure. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it is interesting to what games are, like when we talk about like what video games are and what is a real game or whatever. I think this is not the kind of thing that would pop into people's heads, and yet I think it was such a good game for what it was. Yeah.
Would we recommend it? Who we recommend it to?
Yeah.
And our rating?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, first off, definitely recommend it. The gameplay, like we said, it's very light. The story narrative is light, but very intimate in a way. And the game doesn't challenge you. Like, that's not the point. The point isn't to be challenged. The point is to just, like, exist and be a little carefree for a little while. And so, for who I would recommend it to, I really would consider whether or not that's the kind of game that you want to play. Like, if you want to pick up something and have a hard puzzle, or you want to go, like, kill a bunch of baddies, that's not what you're going to be doing here.
No.
But if you had, like, a bad week, or you're stressed out today for whatever reason, or you just need, like, a moment to yourself to just kind of exist, that, I think, would be the moment that I would play it. It feels really good for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I guess for ratings, I would give it 4 out of 5 golden feathers.
Golden feathers was mine too.
Perfect. There's silver feathers too.
I didn't find any silver feathers.
You didn't find silver feathers? Yeah.
I gotta keep
playing. I found 2 silver feathers. Wow. So you've got some stuff that you need to go. I have
stuff I need to do. I do think this is a game I'm going to be coming back to.
Yeah, for sure.
So I definitely recommend it. Agreed. But I actually do recommend it for pretty much anyone.
Yeah.
I think if you're in the mood for that type of game, you should absolutely play it. And Mom, if you're listening, play this game. You would love it. Dad, you would love it. Honestly. I know you're listening. So, like, beginner gamers can totally pick it up and play it, I think, with ease. I also gave it 4 out of 5 golden feathers.
It was very...
And I want more games like this.
Me too. I would
want
love
a lot
game
more
like
games
this.
like this.
Yeah, like instead of vegging out in front of the TV watching whatever stupid stuff I'm watching sometimes, like I watch so much reality TV. Sometimes it's just like numb myself a little bit, not in a weird way, but just like I just want to veg. This was such a better way to veg. I loved it so much more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please, people, make more games like this.
Yeah. Okay, well, we actually have time for an off-topic section.
Oh, yay, for once.
Bringing it back?
Yeah.
Bringing it back. It's been a while, but off-topic.
Let's start with The Last of Us.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, first off-topic, but kind of on-topic, is catching up with The Last of Us TV show. Since the episode that we recorded, there's been 2 more episodes.
Episodes 3 and 4.
Episodes 3 and 4. The Bill and Frank episode, which completely destroyed me. And the next one, which is setting up the Henry and Sam storyline that I am not looking forward to.
I was gonna say, so like what was so funny about that 4th episode was when it got started, I was like, oh my god, is this the Sam and Henry episode? Oh my god. And then I was kind of happy and thankful that it wasn't yet, because I was like, I don't know if I can.
But it's coming.
It'll be definitely here next week, I think.
Yeah.
How did you like the diversion on number 3? Like, did you feel like it was true to the game still, even with the differences?
I do, because the purpose of Bill in the game is 1, to get the truck.
Right. Yeah.
And 2, to kind of nudge Joel in the direction of caring about Ellie. And that's exactly what the show did, with a completely different storyline, or giving Frank and Bill a new storyline.
Yeah.
in the best way possible. I thought it. I know that now it's getting overhyped, so I'm afraid that people are going to be like, oh my God. Because I've heard some people say it's like the best episode of television they've ever watched, which
I don't know if I would say that.
I could see that, though. I could see it. But I just appreciated what they did to that story that was still true to why Bill and Frank were characters.
Yeah.
And what they taught Joel and Ellie.
Yeah. I loved because like we talked about a little bit at the end of the game like part, you get a note
yeah, we
for
read it.
Bill.
Yeah,
like,
it's really sad.
Yeah, from Frank. If you want to hear the whole note, you should go check out the last episode. I really like that episode. It's a good one. I don't know, the feeling at that moment felt so bad, and I was dreading it the whole time during episode 3.
Same.
Every single time Frank would get upset about something, I was like, oh my God, is this the beginning of the downward spiral? I don't know if I can watch this. And so I was so happy that they ended it the way that they did, and that they actually got a happy ending, and they showed like, okay, yeah, they had arguments and they weren't the same people. They were very different people. And they still stuck it through to the very end, and man,
they loved each other and complimented each other, and
it's the only happy
Bill
ending we're gonna get.
And Frank grew as people, and boy, I fully ugly cried.
Yeah, I cried the whole time. I think the whole like.
Did you watch it with Chris?
Yeah, I don't know if he cried actually.
DK didn't cry. I was like, it got me. It just got me. And TK was like, not laughing, but, just kind of giggling because I was I was like, ugh.
I think I started crying at the strawberries, and I don't know that I stopped until like
yeah. It got me when they started doing their last day together.
Oh, that was just the most romantic and sad thing I've ever seen.
I just lost it. I lost it.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I loved it.
Shit.
I will say for episode 4.
Oh yeah, let's get into episode 4.
Like episode 4, and I don't know if I would feel different if I had gamed or hadn't gamed it, like haven't played the game. It felt a little boring to me, episode 4.
It was.
Yeah.
I agree. It was a lot of setup. I think what they were trying to set up is why people would be after them.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I thought it was interesting because in the game format, you don't question why people are shooting at you.
Yeah,
right? Because you're shooting at people. Like, that's the gameplay.
Yeah.
So I think in the show, they're trying to come up with reasons. And I need to listen to the podcast, which I've been listening to. So the reason they had the scientist and the Indonesia bits sprinkled in is because they wanted to give the world more reason for why the state of things were the state of things.
Yeah.
Like, why did cities look like they were bombed?
Yeah. I love that.
Why is this a fungus? That in games you don't question, but in shows, people who haven't played the game
are going to be confused.
They're confused. They're like, what is this?
Yeah, because they don't have the self-motivation to play. That makes
so
sense,
I think what they're setting up with the 4th episode is why people are shooting at them in this town. Yeah. And why people are going after Henry and Sam in this town.
So for the why people are going after Henry and Sam, are they changing who Henry is? Like, their role?
It seems like they're adding a bit of a...
Like, he seems like an anti-hero kind of person. Yeah.
They're setting it up that way. It seems like Henry was some sort of informant to the old Federation or whatever it's called. And Fedra. Sold out some people. Fedra.
Yeah.
Henry might have a different story. I guess we'll find out in episode 5.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I like it for sure. I can see why they're doing it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, in the game, it is a little...
They are kind of
Deus
comically evil, right?
Yeah, like
rolling around on a truck with a dead woman
strapped
to the front
I'm kind
of
of happy that they we haven't seen that yet. That was kind of nice. And like them appearing out of nowhere and just being like, I was also in the city is kind of just random, like, happenstance. It would feel a little weird in the show. And so it's kind of nice that they give Henry a little bit more of a background, but I'm a little worried that they're making Henry out to be like a totally different person if he's done weird stuff, but we'll find out.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of information yet.
I love Henry and Sam, so
Me too.
I don't think they're gonna deviate from us loving them.
Yeah. Their storyline was the thing that broke me the most, and so I'm really hoping that they do it justice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to talk about The Bachelor now?
What a swap.
Swerve. What a swerve. Are you all the way caught up?
I haven't watched the new episode this week.
Oh, okay.
Yes. But the only reason I haven't watched the new episode this week is because theoretically I'm supposed to be doing a watch party on Sunday, so I am very...
You watch on Sundays?
Not usually.
Oh.
Tara, if you're listening... No. But normally I watch on
watch
Tuesdays. Yeah.
When it hits Hulu, baby.
That's what I usually watch, but I wanted to save it this time because we're doing a watch.
Well,
this
if you ever want
Sunday.
to bail on your watch party and join my watch party on Tuesdays, you're welcome to.
So I haven't seen the third one, but I've seen the first couple.
Okay.
And I have opinions, so I
All
want
right.
to know how you're feeling because you don't usually like watch. So are you watching?
No, I do.
But I thought you said like you skimmed through some.
Well, so our friend group loses a lot of steam towards the end of seasons.
That's fair. Yeah.
But we always are very adamant about
At the
watching at the beginning
yeah.
because it's very entertaining, top tier
Yeah.
entertainment.
Mhm.
And we also make brackets.
Okay.
So
I did brackets one year, but I didn't do a bracket this year.
well, you can join.
Mm.
You and Tara can join our bracket.
I surprisingly have kind of liked it so far.
Me too.
Right? Isn't that surprising?
I thought Zach was gonna be the lamest bachelor on planet Earth. I was so unexcited. We almost didn't do it this year.
Yeah.
Because none of us were excited about him.
I forgot that it appeared, and I actually like catched up last week to watch both of them because I was like, oh, it started? Oh.
Well, so we almost didn't do it, but then we just like the ritual of hanging out every week.
It's
and
fun to make fun of it too.
Cheese boards and wine and whatever. It's an excuse for us to all hang out.
Yeah.
With a funny thing to yell at.
Mm-hmm.
With ridiculous outfits sometimes.
Ridiculous. And matching dresses this time. Rest in peace.
Yeah, that was really funny. Okay, so tell me, do you have any standouts? I can't remember most of the names.
I never remember their names, and half of them look alike this season. It's really killing me. There's so many that just look like little pairs of twins, and I'm like, oh my god, is that the one I don't like or the one I do? I don't know. So the ones that I was surprised, but I think that I'm not going to like them eventually, was the really country girl that got the first date.
Yeah.
I actually liked her. I thought that I wasn't going to like her at all. And I don't think I'm going to like her for much longer based on the previews. Mm-hmm. But for at least up to the episode 2 point, I was like really, really impressed by how Zach handled the kid conversation. And that made me like both of them.
Okay. Our conspiracy theory is he has a producer in his ear feeding him the exact right thing to say in multiple situations, because it is so sus for a man in Bachelor Nation to be this emotionally intelligent.
Yes.
I'm like,
right?
No,
I know. I'm like, since when do we see a bachelor react and say something along the lines of like, I'm just not sure if I'm going to be a good dad, and then start tearing up? I was tearing up. I was like, oh my god, he cares so much.
It was funny because we were like, okay, does he have cue cards? Does he have a thing in his ear? Someone feeding him lines? And then another friend was like, wow, we just can't believe that there's good men so badly.
I know!
That we're making
must be producer plant.
Yeah. It's too sus. It's too sus. So I don't know. Yeah. I think you'll really like this next episode. In my bracket, I have Katie winning, who's like one of the blonde ones.
Katie seems okay.
I saw her a lot in the previews.
Yeah,
she seems fine.
Mm-hmm. I would say fine.
I don't know if I remember anyone enough.
Kat left.
Oh my god, she was so funny. I wish she stayed longer.
And I'm like, who wouldn't want to hang out with her just to like keep her around? She's so funny. I'm really mad.
I will say, I think the producers are giving him a lot more leeway as to who he can cut. This season.
Really? Is that an informed opinion or is that a guest opinion?
It's a guest opinion because they've just made some choices with who's left where I'm surprised that
they cut
he was able
ones.
to. Yeah.
I am surprised / unsurprised that Brianna is having like a meltdown.
Oh, she's spiraling.
Spiraling so bad.
She's gorgeous.
Oh, and like I don't think I
She's like alien good looking.
Yeah, but like I definitely during the like introduction where she got voted America's like best, I would have voted for her. I was like, she's great. And I was excited to see her come back. And literally all she had to do was just like be somewhat likable and not spiral, and she probably had the chance to like be a bachelorette or at least get on Paradise. She still might end up on Paradise.
I think she will.
But the like I was just so surprised that she's just throwing it down the drain. I'm like, girl, you could have been Bachelorette. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And, she's just spiraling. Oh, that was bad. Does it get worse in the third episode?
Yeah.
Great. Perfect.
It's good. It's good. It's a way more entertaining season than I thought it would be.
I like the girls.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like he has better girls than the last few seasons. Like
boy, yeah.
Yeah. I was surprised by how much better caliber they were. And not in like I didn't hate the other girls, and some of them I really liked. But they've been very young and immature. And
oh my gosh,
girls
though,
feel better.
But I like Jess. Do you know who I'm talking about, Jess?
No, who's Jess?
She, like, the first episode, she was drenched in glitter.
Who is this girl? I'm gonna have to look it up after this.
She's really young and she was really nervous.
Oh,
she's
wait.
like,
if I'm thinking of the right girls, the one with the kind of like little round nose and the short hair. Does that sound right? Yeah, okay.
She's really cute. She's like cute as a button, I guess.
She's gone
honestly.
now, right?
No.
Okay, maybe I'm not thinking of the right person. I give a.
Anyways,
they all look the
she's
same.
really young, but she's 23. She's the youngest one on this season. But sometimes they'll have like 21-year-olds, and it's like, you're not ready for marriage.
No, and you can tell that they're not ready.
Yeah. Okay, last comment. Zach kisses weird.
Really? I never thought that I was actually really impressed with the fact that we haven't seen a tongue go directly down a throat yet.
Maybe it's the latest episode, but I noticed some especially weird kissing.
Oh, Jess. Okay, I recognize her.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So for the like kissing shenanigans, I feel like he's kissing
a lot of people,
right? Like so many people.
His love language is physical touch.
He does do a lot of hands on legs too,
yeah.
like really fast. And I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they normally do that and they just don't show it to us. And for some reason they're showing us this time. But it seems like
no, I think he's kissing. No, Bachelor Data, if you follow that account,
I haven't seen it in a while.
Said that he kissed the most people the first night than like anyone in a long time.
Interesting. I mean, I felt it. Like I was like, he's kissing a lot of people. I was like, I told Chris I was glad we weren't doing. I like doing shot games sometimes. I think they're funny. Like take a shot if XYZ happens, and I'm sure there's one in there for the first episode where it's like take a drink every time that they make out, and so I'm like, I'm glad we didn't do one of those.
Yeah. Okay, that's our little off-topic section.
Thank you all for listening to our podcast. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe and rate it. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Baddy Breakdowns, and visit our website, baddybreakdowns.com, made by me, Bridget Keene. The podcast art was done by the ever-lovely Tanisha Vernicar, and the podcast was edited by Maddie Wisnot. Join us next time to hear us two baddies break down Butterfly Soup to kick off Women's History Month.
Yay! Yeah. Butterfly Soup. It's on itch.io for those who want to join us and play before we have the episode, and it's name your own price. So
pick it
really
up.
Excited.
Yeah. Bye.
It's a dating sim.
Oh.
I don't know. You'll figure it out.
Bye.
Okay, bye. Bye.